Hey, mate, nice to see you. You too, buddy. Yeah.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this Team Parker press conference ahead of the big world title fights next Saturday night at Municipality Stadium. My name is Craig Stanaway, the Media Director for Duco Events and also Team Parker. To my left is Kevin Barry, Joseph Parker's trainer, the WBO champion Joseph Parker is next to him, and our promoter David Higgins is on the end. The format today is pretty simple. We're going to open it up very, very quickly. We really appreciate what the media has done to promote this fight for us. Since the 15th of January, when this fight was announced, I think you'd agree, we've almost said yes to every one of your media requests. And I want to take particular credit and pay tribute to Kevin's wife Tanya, who's in here today, because she's had to put up with a lot of your crews coming to Las Vegas and going into their house and doing all the media, and you've got some great stories out of it. So thank you for Tanya for allowing that, but also thank you to the media that came to Las Vegas. Win, lose or draw next week, we anticipate that we want to keep a very strong working relationship with you guys. We very much appreciate what you do, and we respect you, and that's the reason why we're starting at 10 o'clock this morning, dead on time, because in a previous life I used to have a job like yours, and I know how hard it is when people turn up late. One question we get asked is, are we nervous? Now, Kevin, a couple of years ago, was with David Tua, who fought Lennox Lewis, and Kevin told us when we went on this journey that to embrace the moment. So we are embracing the moment, and when you guys talk, you're going to see none of us are nervous. Joseph, are you nervous? This is the number one question you get asked. Are you nervous?
Do I look nervous?
No, you don't.
I'm ready.
You ready? Kevin, are you nervous?
We're very excited. We've been waiting for this day for a long, long time. We're well prepared and really enjoying the moment.
David, are you nervous?
It's the calm before the storm, and you know, so much hard work went into it that we're quite enjoying this end of the event.
So that won't change for the rest of the week. We have been trying to get to this moment for so long. We're going to love the next week, and we're thrilled that you're on the journey with us. We're going to open it up to questions. I will start with one question to Joe, and then I'm going to open it up. The format will be that Joe will do top table, and then at the conclusion of top table, we're going to take him away. Kevin and David are available for one-on-ones, as is Malik Scott, who's here somewhere. There he is. And Malik has been sparring with Joseph, and he'll be able to give you a unique perspective on what's been going on in camp. Joseph, how has camp been since you arrived back there? Was about the 16th of January.
Yeah, firstly, hello everyone, thank you for being here today. We're very excited to be here in London, excited for the fight ahead, March 31. The last time I was here to announce the fight, press conference, and meet AJ for the first time, meet Anthony for the first time, and it's when we left to go back to Vegas, I was fully focused on what I had to do to prepare for this major event, for this big fight. Now, our team has done a tremendous job with the structure of that camp. You know, we have Kevin training, we have time making my meals, so they're very helping out my parents back home. So everyone's done a great job to get me into the best shape that I've ever been in. And I feel like I am in the best shape. I think you guys can tell with my face being a bit skinnier than the last time I was here. And also I'm starting to see some abs come along, which is a very good sign. You know, I'm excited to be here. You know, it's a challenge fighting another undefeated fighter who we respect a lot. We respect his power and what he's achieved in boxing and what their team has achieved on this side of the world. but we're ready for the challenge. We're here to make our mark, and we're here to take this belt back to New Zealand and Samoa.
So in the words of our promoter yesterday, David Higgins, we're an open book. I'm not going to ask any more questions. The floor is open. You can ask any question you like to anyone you like. Joy.
Joseph, I guess the question that a lot of us want to know is how much of a difference you feel your surgery has had on your elbows to your fighting style and your power.
With the surgery, I think Kevin mentioned, or Kevin sort of broke it down yesterday, that we tried to schedule a surgery numerous times, but opportunities came up which we pushed it back, and then probably for the last 2 years we've been training and fighting with not 100%. And I think we can all see with previous fights that it wasn't really the best display that we could put on. And since the surgery, I feel there's been a lot of benefits. Like Kevin mentioned yesterday, we haven't had any troubles in camp, or we haven't really been complaining about any issues. We've been training 100% with a full body with no injuries, and we feel like this is the best camp that we've had in a long time. And that's why we're so confident. Our team is confident in what we can achieve. And we know we're going to come here and put on a great display and then put on a great fight.
And what difference do you think it's made to your power and your punch and your double punch?
It's made a big difference. And I look forward to showing you guys the difference that it's made.
Would you say that you've been fighting at a disadvantage for the last 2 years? And did you also have some problems with your shoulders, and are they better now?
Yeah, we've had problems with elbows and shoulders. I think Kim can touch more on that.
Look, I think you'll find that most professional athletes, it doesn't matter what sport, right across the board, deal with injuries. When you're pushing your body to the limit day in, day out, you're always working through some sort of issues. And yeah, we've had trouble with the shoulders, but I think the actual trouble we had with the shoulders was more related to the elbows. We've dealt with this for a couple of years. I think we will all see a huge improvement on March 31 compared to what we were looking at last year. I know that the troubles that we've had in the gym, I know that the pain that Joe has had to go through on a daily basis, and quite often when we actually step back and look at it, how he was even able to achieve some of the successes that he has had are just very, very mind-boggling. When the surgeon sat down and when he looked at the initial damage that was done to Joe's elbows, he said, how was he able to perform at a world elite level? But I think that speaks to the character of the man.
So having this revelation so close to the fight, do you think, Joe, that you're getting under Anthony Joshua's skin?
That could be a possibility, but I just want to let Joshua or let Anthony know that this is, I'm at 100% now. So there's no problems with us, there's no complaints. I'm here to win and I'm here to take this belt. So you're going to get the full Joseph Parker now.
The double jab was something Kevin spoke a lot about yesterday. It's something you were able to do again. How much of your work does that set up? And so how significant could it be in this fight that you can do that?
Yeah, with those previous, probably 5 or 6 fights, I haven't really shown the jab that I've shown earlier on in my career. And with a great coach like Kevin and telling me the jab is key on setting up our combinations and our attack phases, it's very important that I have it back now. And we're seeing it in the gym, we're seeing it every day, double jab, triple jab, sometimes 10 jabs. So there's going to be a lot of jabs, and hopefully they land in the right place. The nose, the head, the chin.
A little verbal jab from Anthony Joshua over the last couple of days. He said that he'd been in touch with the Vladimir Klitschko camp to get an inside track on how you perform. Kevin spoke about it yesterday, but in a way, has Vladimir Klitschko shown you the way to defeat Anthony Joshua? I mean, that's the fight that you have on a constant loop in your gym.
Yeah, with that fight, we have it playing in the gym every day when we're training, and we know that's Joshua trained very hard for the fight, so did Vlad, and we can see with the movement and with there's a lot of things that we saw in that fight. We know that we can actually do better, and we know that we can catch AJ when we actually put on the split.
What did you make of Joshua, the Joshua camp contacting the Klitschko's? What do you think about it?
They can do whatever they want. It's not going to change a thing. He's probably trying to get advice from someone like Klitschko. We'll be in this camp sparring, but they can do whatever they want to prepare for this fight. And if they have to reach out to people, they can reach out to people. But we'll focus and we know what we want to do.
One last one from me. Anthony Joshua did not speak to the New Zealand media or the Samoan media at his gathering a couple of days ago. Did you take that personally, and what do you think of that?
You know, it's his decision. I think it's a little disrespectful because they've travelled a long way to come and see him, and they respect him. You know, they respect him as a fighter and what he's achieved, but I think it's a little disrespectful. You know, when we were in camp in Vegas, you know, we had a lot of British media come over, and we're very friendly, and we're just being ourselves and invited them to our home, and I made them some nice food, which I was very sad to see because I was eating the other food. But you know, I don't think it's. I think you know he should just be a bit more respectful and talking to everyone that was there, and maybe hopefully in future he can make it better.
I'm just talking about before you're saying you're lean, that you're starting to get a hint at abs. What do you say to anyone that calls you the pie eater now?
You know, I love pies on my off season. This camp, Kev, tell them there's been no pies whatsoever.
There's been no pies. So that's me, so that's the cook.
But I do enjoy a pie after the fight, so I look forward to that after, but not too many this time.
So do you get the sense that, maybe not so much only, but the British sporting public are underestimating you? Because maybe think, oh, you've only been fighting with guys in New Zealand, you haven't been fighting here for America so much.
Yeah, I think the public underestimating myself and our team and all we can do. I think they're judging us on our last 2 or 3 fights, and I think they see Joshua as a fighter who's unbeatable. So there's an element of surprise.
That must help you because it motivate you to do still be surprised because all those people who turn up next Saturday thinking, oh, it's an easy win for them.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's an easy win for them, but that's extra motivation for us. You know, like I said, this camp has been a great camp. We've done everything right, everything's been clicking well, and it's just, I don't really want to say more, I just want to get in there and dash it.
Yeah, and let me just correct you on what you said. You said we've been fighting fighters from New Zealand. Like we've been fighting world-class fighters since very, very early in Joe's career. If you look at the resumes of Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker's resume is far stronger than Anthony Joshua's. Joshua's got 2 names on his resume. He's got Vladimir Klitschko at the age of 41, and he's got Carlos Takam, who took the fight on 12 days' notice. We have much stronger names. Believe me, when we fought Takam, we gave him 3 months' notice. When we fought the 29-0 Andy Ruiz, he had 2 months' notice. Dimitrenko, the undefeated Hughie Fury that no one wants to fight. We have much better names on our resume.
Just on that point as well, Joshua was 817 days older than Joseph when he fought Takam, and coming from New Zealand, we're used to being the underdog with the British. That's the psyche that the All Blacks have over here, the psyche that the cricket team has over here. We're used to it, so we're not surprised.
For the next fight, this is going to be if you saw the cricket overnight. What's New Zealand?
It's a good sign of things to come.
Do you see that one? Something maybe smell and thinking, new sport?
No, we're smashing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good sign, isn't it? a good start.
A question of either Kevin or Joe. Do you give yourselves a code name for example, for this campaign, other than we're fighting Anthony Joshua? Do you have a code name in keeping with being here in Britain?
Oh, we definitely couldn't. We couldn't give you today the name that we call them in the gym.
And the follow-up question, could this be, we are very close to Waterloo Station here, is history, and that, could this be the Battle of Pies? Is this the Battle of Pies?
This will be the battle of 2 young, very hungry, undefeated world champions who are both going to make a name for themselves in this fight on March 31. There's no gimmicks around this. This is real. This is a real fight at its highest level.
So what's been motivating you?
Motivation, being unified champion of the world, making New Zealand and Samoa proud, my family, my team. You know, I'm a boxer of talent, has been doing well, but I couldn't have been where I am without my team. So we all worked hard to get here, and you know, I just want to go out there and give it my best and put on the best performance of my life.
Very few boxers get to fight in front of 80,000 people.
great names, never, nothing near that. What are your thoughts about that? Do you feed off that positively, or how will you deal with that atmosphere?
Like I said before, we're very happy to be here, but we're also very excited of the challenge of fighting here in this backyard, or the challenge of fighting in front of 80,000 people. We haven't experienced that before in our career. We've experienced on a lesser scale in front of 20,000 people, but the challenge of fighting in front of 80,000 people for us is exciting because we haven't experienced before, and we want to, we're going to embrace it. There's going to be a lot of New Zealanders there and Samoans there supporting us. Hopefully, we can look around and see them.
How do you think that crowd will react if you knock out Anthony Joshua? That 80,000 crowd, how do you think it will react?
I can already picture it in my head.
I think we'll hear them screaming from New Zealand.
Have you thought about that moment in your mind though? You thought what will happen when he hits the canvas? Have you played that out in your mind?
I've played out many scenarios in my mind, but that one in particular is the best one.
Is there a soundtrack to it?
Oh no, I haven't really added a soundtrack yet. Just cheers. A lot of cheers.
Joe, when Anthony was asked if he liked you, he said no and that he thinks you're a weird character. Do you like him and what do you think of his character?
I respect him. He's a likeable guy. It's very interesting that he said that because it's very, he's sort of stepped out of his comfort zone and said something interesting. He's been boring lately, but it's good. You gotta. I think he's taking that first step, and hopefully we can see more of him. Maybe we can say a bit more.
Joseph, so yesterday there was a lot in the media about the UFC potentially approaching Joshua, like £500 million deal, and Joshua's recently said, I'm 100% interested in maybe being involved in that. Do you find that disrespectful that he's thinking about changing his sports in the future?
No, there's options for him in the future. If I got given that option as well, I'll listen to it and discuss. But he should be focused on March 31. Like I said, we're prepared, so he should be focused on myself, should be focused on my team. He should be focused on what's going to happen in the ring.
So you would consider a career in the UFC potentially?
Oh no. I mean, if I was offered that amount of money, I'd say, hey team, let's get together. Bit of a discussion, but UFC is not my
Maybe the rematch could be in a cage.
Yeah, well, how would you fancy that?
A lot of learning to do with UFC.
Look, I don't think he'd discuss it on the eve of the biggest fight of his career. That's the point. Publicly too.
Just on that point, there's a lot of talk obviously about Wilder and Joshua Compton speaking about him for some preaching about him. Again, does that give you a sense of the attitude of obviously, we'll just pick up this belt and then we'll make Wilder even bigger?
Yeah, like I said, I feel like they are looking past our team, but you can't really, the public have their opinion on the fights they want to see, and if they're in discussions, so be it. I have a lot of respect for both fighters, but he's got to be careful because there's one person in his way. It's me.
In terms of a future rematch, we understand that the splits of the monies is in your favour. Can you have an influence on where it would happen? Could it happen in Las Vegas, for example, or would it have to be here again?
It's a rollover of a co-promotion deal, so major decisions are jointly made. So the answer is yes, we consult, and despite the banter, the two teams commercially work pretty well together.
So it could be in Las Vegas as possible?
Potentially, but normally fights end up where they make the most economic sense. So I would have thought it would be in Europe in summer, probably outdoor, but we're not focused on that, we're only focused on Joshua.
Kevin, have you altered training at all to ensure as best you can that Joe's elbows aren't injured again?
I tell you what, the elbows are 100%. Okay, so for a start off, the best thing we did was actually getting the surgery. We haven't had to change anything around with his training. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people make a really big mistake. They put themselves in a very large fight and then they think they have to reinvent themselves. We've kept everything fairly similar to what we've done for the last 5 years. Everything that we've done that's got us here, it's a proven formula that works for Joe. I mentioned yesterday, the reason I believe that we had this problem with the elbows is when Joe first started with me, he was a very young man. He'd come straight out of the amateurs. His whole body type was different. His whole way of punching was different. He wasn't heavy-handed. He was very much fighting in an amateur style with straight legs. Then we developed Joe's size and his power. We taught him to sit down on his punches. It created a lot more of explosive power, and I think that is how the damage was done to the elbows. He still has that explosive power now, except for his body is far more inept of controlling that power and using it on a day-to-day basis. So I don't envisage any problems moving forward with the elbows.
In hindsight, would you have done things differently to have tried to prevent the damage that was done to the elbows?
It's really, really hard to look at things in hindsight because, for one, nobody knew back in 2013 that Joseph Parker would end up being a one-punch knockout artist, that he would string knockouts together back to back to back to back. One of the things that was mentioned to me about Joseph Parker when I first came on board was, look, here's a guy with very fast hands, can't punch hard, he doesn't knock anyone out, but he could win a lot of fights on points. And then when Joe actually learned how to pull the power from his legs and use his powerful legs to create the power and to bring it into his upper body, he started knocking guys dead. So the rest is history.
Kevin, where would you place Joe in history of New Zealand boxing, and could you perhaps compare him to David Tua and other heavyweights?
Well, we've had a very proud lot of fighters come out of New Zealand. New Zealand, for a very small country, has produced a lot of great fighters over the years. And right at this time, a lot of people are remembering David Tua when he fought Lennox Lewis back in November of 2000. And David Tua, I spent 12 years with him, and one of the things that really still aches me today is the fact that he knocked out 4 guys that wore the heavyweight belt and never wore it himself. But making the comparisons between Joseph Parker and David Tua, two totally different fighters. The obvious difference is Joseph Parker became the WBO World Heavyweight Champion. David Tua didn't become the world champion. But David Tua was 5'9.5", Joseph Parker 6'4". David Tua would continually come forward. He didn't know any other way to fight. He would, Joseph Parker is a very skillful fighter with a lot of movement. They can fight on the front foot and the back foot. So they're two totally different fighters. They have similarities, the fact that they both come from Samoan heritage, and they both represented the flags of 2 countries, New Zealand and Samoa.
Joseph, if the fight goes the distance, are you worried that you might not get a fair crack at a whip from the judges? There's so much at stake.
No, I'm not too worried. Our team has done a great job to get neutral officials, and I believe we'll do the best to score it fairly.
David, you make a comment.
The British Boxing Board this time, and we're grateful to them this time, have opted for a balanced panel approach, which Tuco and Matchroom were both happy with. That means neutral referee from Italy, neutral judge from the United States, and 1 UK judge and 1 New Zealand judge. So at least the panel is balanced, and we have a view that this fight is so big and there's so much scrutiny on the officials that they should know they won't work again if they favour the home man, obviously.
Joseph, are you going to be lighter for this fight? We've seen the reason.
Yeah, I'm going to be a lot lighter.
You've got a fast weight.
In the last fight, we were probably 112 kgs, maybe this fight 180.
You feel better and quicker for that?
Oh yeah. Faster, stronger, better movement. I'll show you much for you on.
Anthony's been talking about being lighter and quicker as well. What do you think about those comments about him in the past, that he's sort of muscle bound?
It's up to him, really. It's if he actually trusted in his body, then he wouldn't be trying to change who he is or what he's trying to be leaner, trying to be faster, bit of movement. I don't know if he's trying to be him or me.
Joseph, this is the first time I've heard about your shoulder or elbow injury. When was that done? Was that a long time before you started camp or just before?
The elbow surgery?
Yes.
It was done the end of last year.
November 25 and December 1.
So you've had enough time to recover?
100%.
But as a fan, this is the first time hearing this, the first time, because I always wonder about your performances and why certain things was not as smooth as it usually was. But now it's nice to know that you're 100% and there'll be no excuses for this thing. Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Okay, what we're going to do is I'll give the photographers an opportunity to have a shot of our team up here. I'll whisk Joseph away, and then David and Kevin are going to be available for one-on-ones, as is Malik Scott. And thank you very much for your attendance today. We very much appreciate it. Here's the card, and I have it up here.